In our last upload, y'all saw me apply for the Amex Business Gold Card and fortunately was approved for it. Luckily, this was one of those applications I didn't have to sweat too much because I was technically pre-approved for the card, or at least selected for a targeted offer, so that really helped out in that process. But in that video as well, I tried to give a ton of tips and tricks about how you can get approved no matter if you're pre-approved or not, and also no matter how you apply, either having a company or being a sole proprietor and not having a business at all. But of course, the natural video to follow that one up would be the unboxing of this credit card, and if y'all watch Me Apply, you'll know that I actually applied for the rose gold version of the Amex Business Gold Card. So I'm pretty excited to get a first look at that today and see if all of the hate actually is warranted. Before we get there, I want to quickly explain why I applied for this card as well as my data points after applying for it so you can just get a better picture of how this card fits into my overall setup. And then of course we'll get into this actual envelope right here that does contain the Amex Business Gold Card and get a look at it together. So as for why I applied, the first big reason that I talked about in the Watch Me Apply as well is because I had a large tax payment come up, being that I have been working on this YouTube channel full time for the last year or so at this point, and I'm not going to let all that spend go to waste. That's got to go towards a welcome offer. Really, anytime I have any amount of elevated spend coming up, the first thought I have is what welcome offers are available out there right now. And for the most part these days, I'm always looking for business credit cards before personal cards because I still want to guard my Chase 524 status. The main reason I even care about my 524 status anymore is because not only do I want some of Chase's co-branded credit cards like the World of Hyatt credit cards, but the fact that you can get multiple Chase Inc. card welcome offers, and those welcome offers are just so amazing. Plus the fact that you can technically get multiple welcome offers on most of Chase's credit cards means that it's always good, at least for me, to be close to being under 524 really at all times. Funny enough, I actually did drop back under 524 3 days ago at the time we were recording this, but since that was so close to the tax payment due date, I didn't want to push it and just decided to go with an Amex business credit card first, because not only would Amex business cards not add to my 524 account because it's a business card, but it also wouldn't give me a hard pull because I'm an existing Amex customer, and generally after your first credit card application with Amex where they do hard pull you, they'll only soft pull you for the rest of them. But yeah, now that I'm under 524, definitely have some room to add some cards that I've been hoping to get for a while. Being at 424 is like that magical number where you need to make the best decision possible, because while yes, you can get any Chase credit card out there that you want, right after you add that one, you're stuck back at 524. So you have to be pretty, cognizant of what card you add at that spot. So likely more videos to come on that. But as for the second reason that I applied for this card right now, that'd be because it has an elevated welcome offer on it. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that elevated welcome offer was one that I was specifically targeted for and couldn't even find through referral links in incognito mode, which is the method that I recommend you use for all of your Amex credit card applications. And that offer was for a special 150,000 Amex membership rewards points for spending $10,000 on this card in the first 3 months of having it. My normal spend would never really allow me to hit that welcome offer requirement. So in combination with reason number one I got this card, being that I had a large tax payment coming up, this was really like the golden opportunity for me to add the Amex Business Gold, which obviously I took advantage of. As with any credit card application though, I still have to strongly consider my credit card roadmap and see how this card's going to fit into that, because originally I did not have this card as part of my roadmap. And a lot of y'all will know if you've watched the channel for a while that I've had the Hilton business credit card on my roadmap for a long time. And I recently added the Citi American Airlines business credit card to my roadmap. So why did I not go with either of those? And the big answer is, like I mentioned earlier, I did not want to, one, add to my 524 account, but both of those credit cards I just mentioned wouldn't add to my 524 account because they're both business cards. But I also don't really want to add any hard inquiries to my report either. And while the Hilton business card would not have done that, as y'all likely know, they recently kind of nerfed the Hilton business card and the welcome offer just didn't seem as worth it to me now as I thought it would be whenever they made the changes. So that kind of got rid of that card as an option. But the Citi card, on the other hand, would have given me a hard pull. And considering I want to get the Citi Premier card later this year, if possible, adding another hard pull to my report, especially with a Citi credit card that they would obviously see on my credit report, but maybe put more weight on because it is a Citi card, I decided against going with that card as well. At the end of the day, the Amex Business Gold kind of just fit my situation at the moment perfectly. Yes, if I could have waited, another week or so to add a card, maybe I would have gone with like the Hyatt business card or something like that instead. But honestly, the amount of points that I'm getting for this welcome offer, plus the fact that that high spending requirement is not one I would naturally hit without that big tax payment, made it basically a perfect card for me right now. The question really becomes, is this card going to be one that I keep in year two? And as of right now, I seriously doubt it. It just has a pretty high annual fee of $375. And yes, it does have credits to offset that being the flexible business credit, which includes Grubhub, which is what I plan on using it for, as well as a Walmart Plus credit. But those are not things that I necessarily need. And I already, kind of get annoyed with the monthly credits on my personal Amex Gold card. So unless I somehow get just a ton of value from this card in this year, which I do plan on trying to do, and I mean a ton of value outside of the welcome offer, of course, I would imagine that this this card is going to be a cancel in year 2. Hence why I applied for the rose gold version of this card, because I wouldn't want to cancel the classic gold color, you know? Okay, so that's basically the summary of why I applied for this card, but let's also get into the data points after applying for this card, since that's something that y'all probably care about. Now, as you're about to see here, since this card didn't give me a hard pull and didn't add to my 524 count or even add to my personal credit report at all, my scores and everything have actually only gone up since I applied for the card even just a couple weeks ago. My TransUnion score has gone up 4 points to a 763. That's likely just because I've had a lower utilization this month, which obviously helps your credit score. And I actually only have 3 hard inquiries on TransUnion, which is down 1 from before I applied for the card. And that's because my Citi custom cash fell off, like I mentioned 3 days ago, putting me back under 524, which is going to lead me to make some interesting decisions here in the next few months or so. With Equifax, my scores and hard inquiries are exactly the same at a 766 credit score and just 1 hard inquiry. And then with Experian, my score is up 4 points as well to a 740. Once again, still lower than my other ones, and it's probably a more accurate score than my TransUnion and Equifax ones since I got those scores from Credit Karma, but at the end of the day, it's just rising again, likely because my credit utilization is lower right now than it was even just a couple weeks ago. As for hard inquiries with Experian, that's sitting at 3 as well, which again is the same as before, which goes to show that my Citi custom cash that fell off of my TransUnion report did not fall off of the Experian report, which means that Citi did just pull TransUnion, I guess, for that application. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, everything here is basically just looking better than it did before I applied for this card, which is obviously good news, and the biggest reason that I went with an Amex business credit card specifically over another credit card out there that might have given me a hard inquiry or added to my 524 account and reported, you know, to my personal credit report, all just reinforcing the fact that I'm super glad I went with this card instead of something else. Okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the part that you've all been waiting for, the unboxing of this credit card. Alrighty, and here we are with the actual envelope that the card came in itself. The credit community folks, you can go ahead and start roasting me for my tape job now if you want, but hopefully this one isn't too bad for you. For those of y'all that know what I'm talking about here, you know who you are. Let's go ahead and rip this open and see what we have inside. This is of course going to be the actual page that the card comes in itself, so we're going to set that aside for now and go through the other documents here. The first of which being the card agreement, at least part 1 of 2 here. And what this basically is going to tell us are going to be all of our interest rates, like our annual percentage rate here of 27.49%. Y'all have heard me say this time and time again if you watch the channel for a while, but I do not care about annual percentage rates or APRs. And the reason for that is because I'm always paying off my cards on time and in full every month, meaning that I will never pay interest to any bank. And if you do that, then you're losing the credit card game just right off the bat. So if you're somebody that is, you know, paying credit card debt right now, do not worry about getting any, you know, elevated benefits on your credit cards. Just get those cards paid off because you're not going to be able to win the credit card game until that's done. It also tells us all of our fees here as well. So we have the annual membership fee of $375, no foreign transaction fees, as well as some penalty fees here. But again, I don't care about the penalty fees because I'm not going to be paying late or anything like that. So this page in general is just something that I would hope that we already know about before applying for the card, but nothing more than that. Next up, we have the Amex business card privacy notice. And it's going to be very similar to other credit cards that you apply for, where they tell you what information they collect for your cards, how they may share that information, and how you can, you know, stop them from sharing that if you want to. These days, I'm sure they have so much of our data, doesn't even matter. But if you're somebody interested in that, you can do that. Underneath that, we have the summary of additional benefits, which is a massive pamphlet here that I can't even actually fit into the full frame, but it spreads out into this like 4-page kind of thing here, telling you all about your travel related benefits, as well as your retail related benefits here, all of the exclusions that apply to each of those and stuff like that. So it is important to know, but of course we can find these online these days. So with that aside, we can then come to the card member agreement part 2 of 2. So this whole thing here is basically going to tell you more about how your American Express account works, tells you about, you know, basically how to use the card and the rules around that, as well as just all the information about really everything else that has to do with this card, hence the whole card member agreement thing here. But this is actually the biggest thing that we have out of the whole envelope. And I don't know about y'all, but I prefer to read different things than card member agreements in my free time. So I'm gonna set that off to the side too and get back to the very fun part of the unboxing, that being of course the card itself. So again, I did apply for the rose gold version of this card. So for those of y'all that are team classic gold, you might want to shield your eyes here for a second, but I'm gonna go ahead and reveal the card here in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Now this rusty or dirty platinum card here is honestly not as bad looking as I thought it would be. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the page so we can get a closer look at it. But yeah, in reality, I actually don't hate how this card looks. As you can see here, I mean, it's exactly the same design as the Amex gold card, of course, but the only main difference is going to be the business logo underneath the American Express logo. It's still gonna show the same stuff as a personal card when it comes to like your name right here. It has your business name underneath it, which I've taped up. The chip, of course, the Centurion logo, member send state, the tap to pay Pay logo there on the right. And then on the back with this rose gold color, this mag stripe looks a little bit weird, but other than that, it's exactly what we would expect from an Amex credit card. Have the nice blue Amex logo here, your card number on the back, the signature line, the 3-digit code here that you don't actually use because you use the 4-digit code on the front with Amex, as well as the numbers to contact and stuff like that, and the tap to pay logo. So very similar to what we expect with every Amex credit card these days. It's a nice design. It's exactly the same as the personal gold from what I can tell, with the metal I guess feel to it, even though it's not fully metal. It's got a bit of heft to it here, but let's see if I can find a better surface to drop it on if y'all can even hear it. So yeah, it doesn't sound metal. Don't even know if y'all can hear that at all. It's off screen, but definitely a decent bit of heft to it. I'm actually gonna go grab my personal gold card and compare it to my other, I guess, metal credit cards in my wallet, and we'll see how it stacks up. So here is my extra wallet. Links down below to these as always. If you enter the promo code down there, you'll also get an extra 5% discount, so that's cool. But basically all my metal cards are actually in my wallet right now. We have the built card, which I would say feels a bit more premium, and it's actual, feels like metal on the front and back of this card compared to somewhat, plasticky on the business gold. The Venture X is probably my most premium feeling credit card at the moment. Definitely very stiff and mostly metal. We got the Amex personal gold card here, which feels exactly the same as the business version. And look at these two colors right there. Which one do y'all like more? Obviously, I have been joking about the rose gold not looking quite as good, but it really is up to personal preference, and I can see the appeal to both. Now I have both, so that's pretty cool. And then my Chase Sapphire Reserve here as well also feels more premium than the business gold. And this is honestly probably my favorite looking credit card right now. Maybe the built card's actually topping that, but still definitely some good looking cards here. And I will say that the business gold actually does kind of stack up pretty nicely. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Now, of course, back to this paper that the card came on, I did activate the card through the website that it lists here and had that all set up. You can add employee cards and access the digital tools from this paper here too, but of course you can do that through your account as well. And this is a pretty interesting angle here, but I had a couple more things I wanted to cover real quick. For one, I was not able to get this card expedited. I don't know why, but Amex could not expedite this card to me. But luckily, immediately after applying, you can get the card number or a temporary card number through the website. So that's exactly what I did to make the tax payment immediately. I did message Amex today to confirm that that $7,000 tax payment did count in adding towards my welcome bonus spending requirement. I know there's a lot of, I guess, rumors going around out there that Amex would not ever count tax payments again towards hitting minimum spending requirements. But what I think we deduced was basically that as long as that spend did not push you over the threshold, then you should be fine in getting the welcome offer. And at least in my experience, I just confirmed that because the $7,000 that I spent towards my taxes was only 70% of the welcome offer spending requirement, and it did count. I want to also mention that I signed up for Walmart Plus, Paramount Plus, which, by the way, the Paramount Plus is an ad version of Paramount Plus. It's not ad free, so that's kind of annoying, but I guess you do get a discount on the full version if you want that. And I also linked this card to my Grubhub, so I will be starting to use all the benefits possible on this card, and we'll see if it's actually worth maybe keeping in year 2. And my last note is that I may actually start using this credit card as my gas station card. I've been using the City Custom Cash for my gas card since I started the credit card journey, really. But the fact that this card would give me 4x back on my gas purchases if it's one of my top 2 eligible categories makes it to where it's probably one I should consider using because Amex points are just so valuable. So we'll see about that. What do y'all think I should use the card for if not, at least for those 4x categories? And I'll definitely consider that. But for now, I'm thinking I'll probably put my phone bill on this card with its cell phone protection, get 4x on that, as well as get 4x on my gas purchases. But I'll talk about that more in my What's in My Wallet video coming out probably this next week. Now, at this point, if you'd like to see the full application process for this card and see how you can get approved yourself, be sure to click into this video next. And as always, Odin and I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.